Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a very beautiful, bright, and sunny morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. And as always, want to be wishing you well because, my God, you need a nice little Friday morning to end your week with some Bitcoin action as well. So we got plenty to talk about today. As always, some actual fun, or perhaps not fundamental news, but actual news coming into the market with the New York Attorney General going after Tether now. That ticking time bomb starting to actually be diffused, or not diffused, but fused up right now. And of course, with that said, let's teleportation into the live scene and actually get deep and down and dirty into this magic internet money business right now. And as you can see, Bitcoin having a massive leg down below our critical blue 377 exponential moving average right over here. This is what we were talking about coming into yesterday, that hey, there were a lot of warning signs, but it wasn't appropriate for me to be bearish, looking for this to have continuations down to 5,000 until we actually took out that critical 5350-ish area, at which time I actually did take position. So for full disclosure, I did take position. Of course, I think it's very important to actually just show I'm doing exactly what I'm saying. And of course, I want to be a very open and transparent. So I shorted about 80,000 contracts on my streamer account. I think that's about 15 and a half Bitcoins worth. And again, a little bit of a cover against my long perps, and just kind of collecting what little funding over there, I guess, I suppose in the meantime. More importantly, let's kind of go over what's going on right now, as Bitcoin not only broke the blue 377 exponential moving average last night, but it came back and retested it this morning, and so far has rejected from it on this massive wick that we see right here, right now, also being rounded out by the red 10 moving average. And of course, looking at all the oscillators, they're going to be having follow through right now, as we do see daily Stokes crossing the downside, and also going to be breaking this trend line right here, which I guess I took out, but it's right here, basically right at the bullish control zone, which I suppose is not it's actually not technically fully broken yet, or fully confirmed broken yet, but with the fresh cross like this down right around this area, that would be a little bit more ominous behavior than not. Of course, on top of that, we did not break the yellow 20-minute exponential moving average, so I will be getting to that in just a second. But of course, the daily RSI bearish divergence engaged, and we did actually see the full move down to the 20-minute exponential as we spoke about last night as well. 5100-ish low, or sorry, hanging around 5100-ish area. We did not break it just yet, but looking at the daily jewel, there was a pretty damn good sell signal being given on there about 2 days ago, right over here, which we spoke about on the 24th of April. And now you can kind of see that yes, these signals, they take a while to play out, you know, if you're taking it day by day, but they do play out. And of course that called the top right over here at around 56.23. So didn't get like the actual top the day before, but close enough is close enough. And of course, I'm sure if you did take that signal, if you have access to that, looking pretty well right now. And of course, I need to remind myself to talk about this. I've been very bad about getting this information out, but the price on the jewel will be being raised at the end of the month. And more importantly, if you're in the technical analysis program or any other or the options program, you are entitled to a massive discount. So just reach out to me. I'll set that up for you. Happy to do that, and I'll leave it at that. Okay, back onto the actual analysis. Here's the thing. So from a daily dildo perspective, if we actually do take out this yellow 20-minute exponential moving average, which is currently right around 51.25, I would be looking for the next leg down towards 47.50. But here's the thing. From a traditional standpoint, this area that we spoke about last night, the 5,000 area, which actually, to be fair, we got a little bit lower. Did we get? No, we got down to 49.91. That's good enough. Is actually traditional, is going to be your traditional bounce area for this formation. Why is that? Well, and I know I typically talk shit about this, but this is the time when I'd actually bring up and consult with my simple moving averages. I'm going to swap my 10 for the 30 and get all the other guys off there. And let's see what we got. Let's get that guy off there as well. And you can see that the 30-some moving average actually caressing price action, and that's going to be our impetus for bounce, and also going to be rounding out our lower support. So this, you know, if you're going super traditional, which is completely fine, then that's kind of what we'd be looking at. Obviously, 10 simple is going to be wrangling price action from the upside coming down. So it's which one which one wins out now is going to be the next big deciding factor. Now, of course, with a news piece like we saw in the last day with the New York Attorney General going after Tether and suggesting that they've covered up almost $1 billion worth of losses, that is a big deal. And I know that there is maybe dissenting opinions upon what are the implications of the U.S. government or just the U.S. in general with something like Finex. Well, the thing is that I don't even know if it really matters, because if you remember not too long ago, about a year ago, onebroker.com, which was a pretty reputable business. I mean, I don't really think too many people had problems with them. They seem to do well. I never traded on there myself, myself, so I'm not speaking from experience here. But even they who were registered in some sort of very far off jurisdiction that had nothing to do with the U.S. were still caught by the very long peignoir of the U.S. government and shut down. Although the people who actually on that exchange did receive their funds back, so that was, that's a good end of the story. But of course, not a fun situation to begin with. And just making sure that I'm actually recording. Yes, there we go. So you have to imagine that when the New York Attorney General comes up with a story like this, it does have implications and it does matter, because Finex not too long ago was actually accepting U.S. customers and dealing in U.S. dollars. So if they do want to find a back loop around it, if they really do want to fuck Finex, they probably can. I mean, and this is coming from a U.S. citizen. The U.S. can do whatever the fucking U.S. wants, and that's for better or worse the way that the world is. So again, I don't have a political opinion on that, but that is a truth of the market. Understand the implications of what that can become. Tentacles, though, do suggest that we just hit a major support, and I would be treating this as such until denoted otherwise. Now let's go down to the lower time frame and see if we can figure some more things out about this, because I don't think anyone wants to wait until 5,000 actually gets broken to take another position. And I'd say, whoops, let me get off. Let's actually put these guys back on. There we go. Come on, baby, get back into your home and put back on the 10 simple. And okay, cool. All right, so I would call that Bitcoin's going to come down to 4750 preliminarily if we did break 5100 on like a 3-hour or 4-hour dildo close. If we see this next 4-hour dildo close anywhere below 5100, I would be looking for that next leg down, is what I'm trying to say, towards 4750ish area. Until that happens, this traditionally is your bounce area coming off of a formation like this, and we'd be looking for a move back up to test like 5350ish area, which would be around the daily 377 exponential again. But here's the thing, to me, we already saw that. Most likely we saw that on the prior 4-hour dildo, which came all the way back up to about 5300. That was swiftly rejected, and let me remind you, on the daily, that is exactly where the blue 377 exponential is, and also the 10 simple. So the way that I read this now, it can, if assuming that we do open and close this current daily dodo below this area right around 5300, I do consider that this is a hunt, this is a trap, and then we're coming down, and basically this was a fake out. I mean, was it a fake out to the upside? We hit our targets essentially, we hit our targets essentially, just kind of going back here and back testing this for a second. Did we get into the blue box territory? We just kind of brushed up against it. A weaker attempt, but overall, you could say that is target hit, and then coming down off of a swing failure pattern at the same time. If you're even looking at it as a more bullish thing, once we ticked below 5350ish area. So that was kind of the big news that we were speaking about yesterday. It's like, yes, there's all these cautionary signals within the market, but I will not be taking position until we actually break 5350, as that is my signal for going down to 5,000. Of which, again, just kind of very much, just kind of show, yes, I did short at 5303 on my streamer account, but remember, this is my streamer account. It's not my priority. My priority is with my main account, and also this was done on the June futures, which have a $20 discount. So got in that position right around 5330ish area. On price action. So again, looking at price action right over here, this next segment is going to be absolutely critical. If Bitcoin can pick itself back up by its bootstraps right now, then that would actually be mega bullish. If you see Bitcoin get back above 5,300, we're not just going to go back to 56, 5,700. We're probably going to go to like 6,200. So we're at a major area where the stakes are high. To the upside, I'd be looking at something like that, although right now it does look more down to me. Looking at the volume of this formation, that looks like breakdown volume if I ever saw it. And then on top of that, to the downside, I would be having not just a target of actually 4750 down around here. Is it 4750? Yeah, around the 200 exponential. Which, by the way, this is going to be an attack on the golden exponential moving average cross, which, by the way, has still kept you safe if you were paying attention to this one and not the silly simple moving average cross. Which, I think I've been misheard on this, or maybe I've done a bad job of explaining. Yes, simple moving averages are worthwhile. I use them in my daily activities all the time. But these things like the golden cross on simple moving averages and people going all gung ho about that, those are traditional traditional means of fucking with the retailers, because people can very easily see the sorts of things, so you can play games, and this is why you see hunts emerge. Not only that, but we see price action relatively far away from the actual cross itself. I'm referring to the green and the purple moving averages right here, the 50 and the 200, as these are the exponentials which have not confirmed across the upside. They are getting damn close, and keep in mind that if Bitcoin does tick back down around here, it's going to be another 2 to 3 days before they actually confirm. And of course, if Bitcoin, if price action comes all the way down to 47.50, they will not confirm. They will actually not confirm because they put much more weight on the recent price action compared to a simple moving average, which is further. The white moving average right here is your 200 simple, which is all the way down, and we do have the golden cross on that just like right over here. So it's very far away from price action is what I'm trying to say. And are we going to have an attack on that? I think that's more likely of the scenarios. But hey, 5,000 still staunch support. I would be making decisions at 5,100. I think that is appropriate. But of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my opinions on these things and telling you exactly what I'm doing at the exact same at the exact time actually. So yeah, looking at the 2 hour right over here, we see all 2 hour, we see all time frames essentially down, I believe. This is your, hourly is up, but hourly is very low. 2 hours going to be down. 3 hours actually going to be up as well, which is very strange because we see price action dump on pretty heavy volume, and then 3 hour Stokes are still headed up, which to me is actually quite bearish, as it's allowing the oscillator to reset during a pretty massive downwards move. I mean, this is a move from 5,600 to 5,000. That's more than a 10% move. 4 hour Stokes actually going to be having a fresh cross the upside. So this would be the best counterpoint to what I'm saying right now. And this is what I could also say. If you see Bitcoin even tick back above 5,300, it's likely that we do see that continuation onwards and higher. It's probably going to take its time and trap even more shorts. But overall, that would be that would be my impetus for getting out of the short position and probably adding long for a little bit more of a long-term play. Like I said, first target would be right around our prior highs, right? 56, 5,700-ish area. Personally speaking, I think that Bitcoin would go much higher than that over time. We're going to speak about why those ideas are that way in just a little bit when we get to the higher time frames. But yes, 4 hour Stokes crossed up to the upside, although technically unconfirmed right now, but does look like it will confirm. 4 hour RSI, I'm not telling us too much, just telling us that we're in the bearish control zone. What about the 8 hour? I'm curious what this intermediate time frame says. Yeah, 8 hour Stokes still down, but these have not been getting price action too well, to be fair. 10 hour Stokes going to be likely down. Same thing with these of the 8 hour, haven't been too accurate recently, but I do like to see everything kind of in confluence with each other. Here's where the 12 hours are. They are coming down as well. And that to me does hold a lot of weight. Not only that, but we did break the yellow 20 exponential moving average, which is very important because I was I suppose I was a cautionary bull as long as we were holding above it. Why? Because we had a golden cross right over here on the 12 hour, the green 55 and the purple 200, and we walked up the yellow 20 exponential moving average ever since then. So my rule is whenever you have a golden cross, I don't play counter trend until you actually break the 21. Well, once we broke the 21. This is what happened, and here's the concerning part. Bitcoin has come up all the way to retest it at 5,300, also in confluence with all the daily moving averages that we saw, and rejected from it thus far. Now the 12 hours actually going to be closing, sooner rather than later than the daily. So if this 12 hour does close, here or lower, this is going to be confirmed a rejection, in my opinion. Not only that, but decent volume on this rejection. Not too crazy when you look at it from this angle, but 12 hour Stokes going to be down. 12-hour RSI going to be bouncing off the bearish control region. However, to me, a little bit more ominous as it kind of spends some time in this region. If we do break again 5,100, very likely to come back down, into this region right here between the 377 and the 89, which is going to be, that essentially the 4750-ish area that we just spoke about. Daily, we already spoke about that. 2-day, let's go check out the 2-day. 2-day is going to be closing tonight, and look at this 2-day bearish divergence on the RSI confirmed. However, we basically already hit the target, which would have been the 21 exponential. Well, to be fair, it's 48.50, so $150 lower. Maybe, yeah. Hold on, I might be being a little bit too lenient with that. No, I take that back. No, target not hit. 2-day Stokes gonna be crossing to the downside as well. This is the same area that each and every time that we've crossed down for the past year. Major massive dump, starting with your dump from 2017 in December at $20,000, then February from 12,000, then May from 10,000, then August from 8,400, and once again we are angled back down. But you can see that there has been a lot of snakes in this region. I need to see it actually get below and cross down below this critical zone right here to have more confidence in an actual signal playing out. Although for right now it looks good to me. Our prior 2-day dildo closing as rejection, as a nice shooting star dildo, and then continuation to the downside. probably good. Also the 2-day RSI, not just getting bearish divergence, but also losing the exponential. To me, that's likely to incite some more continuations. What do we have on 2-day Jewel? Not really telling us too much. Do have some divergence on there, but I think there's more tangible things with the Jewel. We saw on the daily there's actually a good sell signal at the top. On the 2-day, I don't think it's got it too well. 3-day right over here. This is where it starts to get fun, or maybe not fun for some people out there. But 3-day stuff is going to be crossing down again. Same thing as the 2-day. Each and every time in this region has not fared too well for the bulls, calling major massive dumps. On top of that, we do have 3-day RSI going to be likely losing the exponential. But here's the thing: we just got a new 3-day, a new fresh 3-day dildo. So if price action is still here. If price action is here or lower by the 28th, which is going to be closing tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, then I would say that this is likely to have continuations down and test the 21 exponential, which is where 4,700. And also that will confirm the 3-day Stokes to the downside. So we'd have confirmation there, and we'd also confirm below the exponential on the RSI. So we have confirmation there. Would we also have bearish divergence on the 3-day? Actually, no, technically not. But more importantly, and here's what it all comes down to: the 3-day Jewel has now a negative slope. So this is very important to me. And while there are still, a couple more trading days before this closes and confirms, if we close here or lower, this will be confirmed as slope down and actually right at the critical zone, which to me would, if we're going off of history, all the last times that we've had these sort of puzzle pieces in place, it has mounted to some pretty nasty dives. So now we can start to really fill in the puzzle pieces if this gets set in stone, and I'll start to walk through it right now. But basically, each and every time that you see the 3-day Jewel signal red in the background, first and foremost, and then get the light blue oscillator into the more critical zone, which I'll bring up right now, above this 80 marker right here, and then get a negative slope. That is when major dumps are called. So I'll just briefly kind of highlight them. We've done this a million times, so I know it's boring for the people who have been tuning into this, but 48% down right over here. We had about a 75% down right over here. I mean, these were parabolic tops, so I don't think we're gonna have like a 75% drop down off this. But same thing right over here. Then we actually called the bottom in 2014, 2015 right over here, not bad. And then we had another dump dildo right over here for 40%. Then we had another dump dildo right over here for another clean. Going all the way down over here, about 39%. Then we had a very small one-off, almost, I would argue that this was not a good signal, but even with this bad signal, still having about a 10% move, of which, to be fair, we actually have already had that. And then we have this guy right over here, another 35% move. Then we have this guy right over here. Now you're probably getting bored of me saying this, but another 35% move. We can just say that, it seems to me that if it's not coming off of a parabolic top, if it's just kind of coming off of a little bit of a rally, about 30 to 35% seems to be the mean, the average of what these signals amount to. And let's just kind of take a retracement for what we're doing right now. If we were to shave 30% off the price action, that would put us right back down around 4,000, which you'd imagine really wants to be critical support. If we were to extend that another 35%, another 5% all the way to 35% total aggregate, that would put us down where? At around 3,700, right around 3,600, 3,700-ish area, which is going to have massive implications, because not only is it that, and let me just bring this back out once again, but it's also going to be lining up, perfectly with the white 200 simple moving average, which for me is very important for long-term, extremely long-term trend identification. As long as Bitcoin's above it, I'm not taking any trades looking for new lows on Bitcoin. As a trader, as an analyst, as an opinionated person, you can have all sorts of crazy ideas with where this thing's going to go, all sorts of models and of price action, and that's all well and good, but as a trader, I don't take that trade looking for new lows until this 200 simple is broken, and that is all the way down here to about 35, around, it's going to be crawling up to 3,600 in the next week or two, so keep that one in mind. Not only that, but if we were to break that, I do look much further down towards, low 2,000s would be my next target, but you can see that we're well and far away from there. So as a trader, it's just not too like helpful to really be thinking about it right now. And we do have the purple 200 exponential moving average in the way as well, which I would imagine is going to be very strong support if we were to pop all the way down. So I'm making a lot of assumptions here. So please understand the way that I'm relating these timeframes and what needs to happen before these even become realities. But if we were to break this purple 200 exponential moving average, which was our resistance for the last 5 months as Bitcoin was struggling to get above this area and it's more aggressive consolidation, well, if we would actually break that back to the downside, that would be a massive flare being fired up in the sky, saying, hey, you can probably take a starter position, maybe looking for new lows. At the very least, you'd probably have a clean move back down to the prior lows at like 3,600 and test that 200 simple. But another potential big trade in progress. So again, for right now, weekly's shaping up as a rejection. Do we have new lows on the weekly? We do not. Funnily enough, we do not. On Bitstamp and on spot exchanges, we do not have new lows on the weekly. However, if we go over here to CMEs, we do. CMEs do have new lows on the weekly, taking out that 49.30-ish area. Also rejection of the green 50 exponential moving average right over here, which would, essentially line up with our low, the support trend line of our lows from the 2018 segment. So, CME is once again a much easier chart to read. And, if I'm just looking at CME weekly right here, certainly not out of the question to come back down and pop the 21 exponential. We are going to be having weekly Stokes get way up there, just areas that we haven't really seen before. On CMEs, on spot, of course, it's different. Weekly RSIs, I don't know how accurate this is going to be because we don't have too much price action history to be going off of, but technically hidden bearish divergence would be initiated because we have confirmed. Well, we have to take out the low of this dildo to confirm a local high. I would go as far as saying that if we close like this by end of day, because that will close the weekly for CMEs, I'm gonna be a bear, looking for a move down. Most likely, I'd say that it greatly increases the chances. Not only that, but it was really the daily that kind of gave it up the other day, right? The daily gave up the 200 exponential moving average right over here, kind of the initial warning signal, and then boom, all the way down to our 21, having some major bearish divergence along the way, now losing the exponential. To me, that signal's already kind of played out. We do see daily Stokes headed back down, and of course, hey, where did my bottom trend line go? Motherfucker. Something like this. So I would be looking for a bounce right around this region. That's probably at a price point somewhere around 47.50-ish area. If we do get there, I'd be looking for a bounce. I would be looking for a bounce on the first pass. So this is obviously the more bearish scenario. Remember, if Bitcoin gets back above, what was it, like 53 or 53.50, especially 53.50, but probably 53, we're gonna go back to the prior highs and probably beyond, and this is gonna be a massive bear trap with a lot of very salty people left in its wake. Speaking of which, let's go check out the longs and shorts. Yeah, we have a shit ton of shorts on the table right now. 28,500 open shorts versus 19,000 open longs. 2,500 of these guys are hedged, so really 26,000 open shorts. And again, this is this is what makes me very apprehensive and makes me think that, hey, we're not. Very unlikely to make new lows from this area. Very unlikely to make new lows from this area, but a nice down movement. Possible, yeah. 28,500 open shorts is actually, it's higher for the more recent times, but it's if you go over the history of it, it's really not. Going back all the way over here, what a high reading for these shorts is like, well above 30,000 into like 38 to 40,000. That's where you find your major bottoms, actually. Anyways, once again, this blue box territory actually did provide a decent trade, signaling on the 9th of April. We got into this area, which has called all the major dumps for the past year, all of them except for these last few times right here. So fake out, fake out, fake out. And then once again, we see the trend emerge. So this was your dump from 12,000, 10,000, 8,400, 7,300, and 6,000 right over here. These last two times, not so much, but this time working out. And I'm going to guess that this was probably news that was front ran, all that good stuff. So any news finally actually does work out. And this is news that actually does matter. And more importantly, in a market like this, there is no such thing as insider trading, right? There's no such thing as insider trading because there's no real regulatory agency for this. So you can technically do that if you actually, so the people who are a part of Tether, the people who are part of Bitfinex, who's putting on the shorts over here, who's kind of running this price action up. And you do see what looks to be probably a fucking bank run being done by Finex right now. I think 100 million's been transferred out of that exchange. If you go check out the block explorer, which I forgot to bring up, and I don't know if I can fish it out right now in an appropriate manner, without like just being really annoying with how with my incompetencies with searching around the internet. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. But overall, kind of strange what's going on there, huh? So yeah. Okay, anyways, just finished another hourly, it looks like. Did we close a 3-hour as well? We did not. Did we close a 2-hour? We did not. What time frames did we close? Just an hourly? Man, that's a boring one. Yeah, just an hourly. Just an hourly. Jesus Christ. All right, well, Well, fair enough. Hourly looking like it's going to be caressed by the 10 simple. Do we get another run back up to test 5230-ish area? Maybe. Possible. Again, lower time frames. Just kind of flagging out here. Does that offer up a chance for a BART? Yeah, it does. And remember, that's why 5,300 and 5,325 is where to have my eyes on. If Bitcoin gets back above there, this is going to be a massive bear trap. We're going back, probably not just to 5,600, but probably beyond after that, if that were to happen. But for right now, I would say that there are more downside signals. If I had to pick direction, I'd say down, but again, I don't trade my opinions, so and this is not financial advice, so I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, okay, cool. We spoke all about that. Yeah, let's also speak about this. This is very important as well. Let's take off my beautiful exponentials and put on these disgusting Bollinger bands, which we've been following as of recent times. And what do we see here? We see that we're having our first potential dildo hinting at a closure below the top Bollinger band. Which what does that typically mean? It typically means that this rally wants to go into consolidation and pull back, just like when you see your first, just like over here when you're kind of trending outside the top Bollinger bands and you close your first one inside. Well, here comes your test down to 9,000 a few weeks later. Pretty nasty. And in our skid mark in the middle, this brown colored 20 simple moving average is coming in where? Right around 4,100, which over a couple of weeks is probably going to rise up to around that 4,200-ish area in confluence with the 200 exponential on the weekly, which I need to take a sip of this water because I'm damn thirsty. Motherfucker. Forgot to refill my water before this video. So I'm going to have to make it through the rest of it. But I think I can do it. It's just my allergies have been so bad recently. I don't know what's going on. I've been trying this allergy medication, but I'm not a fan of taking drugs, man, or like taking those kind of drugs. It doesn't feel right? It's like, how did humans survive before these sorts of things? Like, what the fuck? Am I just supposed to die? Fuck, that sucks. Anyways, yeah, so weekly right over here. Of course, we still have another few days until the weekly closes, but here's the thing: if CMEs close here later tonight, then I would be willing to call that likely broken. And CME top resistance, or sorry, CME top Bollinger band coming in right around 52.14. So a close anywhere below 52.14. And yes, I do look lower over the next few weeks. Of course, on spot charts, it's going to be a little bit different. That same area would be around 50. Let's call it 52.85. 50, maybe just round up to 5,300. It's easier to say. If Bitcoin closes below there by end of weekend, which for these guys is going to be Sunday, whereas CME is going to be today, then likely going to see a pullback much deeper. On top of that, for our spot charts, we see a lot of these weekly stocks get way up there, just areas that we haven't seen in a very long time, and we haven't really seen a pullback throughout this whole rally, which is also quite interesting. I mean, looking at the weekly RSI, I want to see it come back and test this exponential. I mean, just statistically speaking, it doesn't stay away from this for usually more than a year. Or sorry, let's see, right over here, we start in December of 2017. We come back and test it, I'd say. Well, you could consider this one in February. So December to February, that's 3 months. If you want to be the more conservative area, you'd say all the way to April. But regardless, it's kind of like the same setup from February to where we are right now, almost in the month of May, just one more week. So again, it's not a death sentence to come back and retest it. I mean, you're going to see this exponential line up with the neutral zone. So if Bitcoin can find support there, that's going to be a good thing as well. But that also would incite that we, likely have a pretty deep pullback. So, this is why. This is why you don't want to get caught up in all of the hopium and delusion. And this is why I've been having this message of caution recently. And it seems like to me that we're finally seeing these signals play out. Not only that, but I'll bring up the good old. Everyone's gonna hate this because I'm gonna use the wrong version. But please just bear with me for a second. It looks the exact fucking same as the other MVT signal. But I'll bring up the MVT signal. I'll bring up Willy Woo's over here as well. And shout out to Willy Woo. Much respect. Please do not take this as a signal of disrespect for this. Oops, I can't even bring it up right now. But overall, whoops, let's go to a daily, and there we go. You can see that the MVT signal has actually closed below the moving average now, and I think it's. I don't think that there's a scenario in which today, I mean, unless if today pumps up like $400, $500, we're gonna confirm below this moving average, which that is when typically the major tops are being called in Bitcoin as well. If we want to back test a segment right over here, we can say that's MVT signal marching its way up, going to signal red right around 73, 7400-ish area, rallies up another $1,000, or sorry, not 1,000, but what was it? Wait, yeah, $1,000. And then what happens when we break the orange moving average right here? Well, that's beginning of your bearish momentum, timing it perfectly all the way from about 8,200 high to 6,000 low. But there's a few other things that we need to see as well to kind of be fully confluent and have a full-on signal. In my opinion, I need to see daily Stokes crossing down. We see this right over here and getting below the critical zone, tick 1, tick 2. Then I want to see daily RSI getting below the exponential on this, tick 3. And then I want to see the daily jewel also give a little bit of a sell signal. It doesn't need to be a perfect sell signal, as this is not, but I do need to see this right over here. I need to see the light blue oscillator get into the more critical zone and then get a negative slope and head down. And this is the most preliminary one that calls it actually right at the top. Let's see how we're doing right now. Do we have red on the MACD signal? Yes, check 1. Are we below the moving average? Check 2. Although technically not confirmed, but I don't think it's gonna. I have a hard time believing that it probably bounces back up. Daily Stokes cross down below the critical zone, tick 3, tick 4. Daily RSI below the exponential, way below the exponential as well. Kind of looks like it wants to bounce here, actually. And then daily jewel actually not getting into the more critical zone right over here, getting into the critical zone here. Calling this top, but not necessarily this one. Although it did fire off a perfect sell signal, to be fair. So, are there some discrepancies with it? Yeah, a little bit. Certainly a little bit, but overall, just another kind of cautionary thing. And yes, I understand I'm not using the right MVT signal. There's another one on board. Willie Woo has updated it. Shout out to Willie Woo again. Just massive appreciation for all the work that you've done. Please do not take that as a sign of disrespect. It's easier to get it on right now. I'm actually working with the programmer to get your work on there, if that's I guess cool with you. So that we can actually, do the same things here and look at the more legitimate version. But for all intents and purposes, from what I remember, the one on the website and the one that I'm looking at on TradingView realistically don't have too many differences. Not enough to make that not valid, what we just looked at. And again, I'll lay it down like this. This would be now, in my opinion, like a tier 2 confirmation tool in conflict to like the 3-day jewel, which still has technically has not confirmed the full on sell signal, but anywhere here or lower in the next 2 days, that will. And we do see a lot of we do see a lot of signals that could be emerging later tonight with the closure of CMEs. On top of that, we do see GBTC having a major rejection yesterday. Or no, it's not a major rejection. What? See, GBTC is doing its own thing. Wow. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? I don't know what GBTC is doing, to be honest with you. I don't know, man. It's doing all sorts of weird shit. I'm gonna guess that we're gonna open really far down today, and I'm gonna say that GBTC is following now. So then I said GBTC was leading, now it's following. It's just like, all right. At this point, I'm not trading GBTC. I don't care what GBTC does. I'll put it that way. And it seems like a less tangible object. And whether it's leading or not, it doesn't matter. Who gives a fuck? We do have bearish divergence confirmed on this guy. So I would be looking for a move back down to test like 634. So I guess that's, kind of what it'd be going off of. But fair enough. Anyways, okay, cool. Back onto the Bitcoins right over here. And, okay, what else did I want to speak about? Yeah, let's go to the monthly really quick. Let's show this as there's just another couple of confluent signals that I want to be aware of. First things first, we're kind of testing the 21 exponential, which we're actually below right now. Remember, this needs to be taken on a monthly dildo time frame schedule. And from where I come from, in my former life as a market maker, authorized trader on the floor of New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, I would use the 21 exponential, this yellow moving average right here, to judge if we're generally bullish or generally bearish for stocks that have, lots of years of history. And as you can see right now, Bitcoin's below it. And the thing is, it needs to actually, close the monthly below it. But this is the first time that we've tested it after 6 months of being away from it. And it's kind of back testing this in 2014, 2015. You see Bitcoin breaking it right over here. Then go fuck yourself all the way down to your ultimate red dildo capitulation, death of dildos in decay. And on top of that, we tested the 21 plenty of times before actually taking it out, which actually did perfectly time the beginning of our bull momentum right over here. But test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and then onwards and upwards. And that is why I'd be a little bit more apprehensive in this area as well. Not only that, but we do technically have a bearish cross between the red 10 simple and the yellow 21 exponential moving average, which does tell us about overall trend. And if we actually do confirm a rejection, which again needs to be confirmed, not right now, not today, but at the end of the month, which we have 4 more days. Wow. April just flew by. Holy shit. That's insane. Jesus Christ, man. April's already done. We're already like halfway through 2019. What the fuck? That's so crazy. That is so crazy. My God, man. Sorry. Okay, let me get back onto this. So yeah, if we do confirm below this, if we actually do close this monthly delta below that area, which is around 52.50, I'll consider that a rejection, and we probably that would incite probably continuation a little bit lower. By the same token, if we end this monthly above the 20-minute exponential, very likely that we make our way into the 6,000s, into the lower 6,000s, and probably, personally speaking, I actually do think that we'd come up and test like maybe 69 or 7,000. So again, the stakes are high, and there a lot more weird things have happened in 4 days. But with the way that it's situated right now, and with the way that we're seeing the lower time frames, you have to start saying, okay, we have a lot of puzzle pieces set in stone with 4 days left to go. What's a weekly going to look like coming into next week? If we close here, got to start asking those questions. Of course, not confirmed yet, but in preparing for the next big move, which, if we close above this area, I mean, that's almost a $2,000 move if it hits like my opinion target, about $1,000 move if it hits my more conservative target, to the upside or to the downside. $1,000 move to the downside. These are very big. These are the bigger trades where real money is made. So yeah. All right. So cool. Let me check out. Wow, nice, powerful forex. I've actually haven't really traded forex this week. Just been so busy with like administrative stuff. But yeah, okay. Also on the oscillators for monthly, we do see monthly Stokes hinting at across the upside. Although, I'd say that if we close anywhere here or higher by end of month, it will confirm across the upside. Let's just look at what happened the last time when Bitcoin was down around this region, which was June 2015. And if we look at price action at June 2015, that was right here. And you can see that Bitcoin was doing what? It was, marching its way up to the 21 exponential before it being smacked down like a fucking lemming. And then what was that? A 38% move? Oh, fuck! It's like, Jesus Christ, man, what's going on over there? Then we bring up the RSI, and let's just kind of see what we're doing on the RSI. See that the RSI has been away from the exponential for a very long time. We're coming back and retesting it for the first time in ages. Well, what happened right over here on the first retest in July 2015? Well, same area, right? Just getting smacked right back down. So again, does Bitcoin come back down and retest these areas? If we do end below this area, I'd say that it's likely. Okay. All right. So what else did I want to talk about? How come my Dow Jones doesn't have any price? What? Oh, I guess I haven't paid for real time. Oh, whatever. I don't need real time anymore. I don't trade those markets. Okay, still recording. Okay, good. Mic is on. Also good. Wow, that would have been devastating if this video was not going to go through. Lower time frames to me kind of look like they want to grind the low back out again. But remember, it's not until 51 breaks where if 51 breaks on like a 4-hour close, I would be looking for a move back down, test this lower area right here, very, very likely. But probably see continuation overall towards 4,700, the base of this whole formation. And I'd be looking for a big bounce there. That's kind of what I'd be looking for right around here. Now, here's the thing. We're seeing a lot of the same sort of behavior amongst the market, and we're seeing like some coins moving faster than others, right? And I just want to pull up what I think is probably the fastest moving one, and we'll go over here to Cardano, which, had this major downtrend, put in what its current lows are, then had a major rally right over here, getting stifled right at the 50 exponential moving average, and then getting faded back below this area right over here, getting wrangled below all these moving averages, which to me incites some more continuation. Cardano probably does bounce back up and test 1350 in the next week, sometime next week, but that's likely going to be a sell, assuming that we do close this weekly down here. Look at the weekly Stokes, also very high as well, crossing to the downside. Looking at the weekly RSI, also below the exponential. Some of these things are a little bit, it does look a little bit like, and I hate that I'm going to use this word, but fractal in nature, in the way that, they're kind of interrelated across different times. It looks like some are just more advanced in these formations. I don't know why that is. I don't have an explanation for that, but it is a pattern that I think I've noticed, and tell me if you've kind of seen the same. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Let's go check out BNB count. What's BNB doing? I'd still be, is BNB strong enough to go contra to market? Is BNB strong enough to do that? Well, I don't know. It has in the past. I would still be saying, hey, as long as you're holding above $21, I don't really see a reason to be bearish on this. But you got to go with the, a lot of the times you got to go with the market. Daily Stoch's going to be down. Daily RSI, not really telling us too much. Weekly looks fine to me. Weekly looks okay. Weekly looks completely fine. Monthly looks great. I'd say higher time frames are very bullish. The lower time frames want to come back down and maybe consolidate around $18.30. Maybe. I don't have a strong opinion on this. I'd say overall this is probably the strongest chart in cryptocurrency land right now. So let's see what the strong can do in a market like this. Zcash just straight down, just same thing as we saw in Cardano. Pops up for a second and then I think I'll just sell all that and good night. It's like everyone who's in this just sells it, and we're hitting our weekly target down around here, right around $60 as we spoke about yesterday. Fucking nice. There you go. Again, not saying these sorts of things to sound arrogant myself, but so that you can go and do this yourself and become autonomous. And that's what this is all about, man. That's what this is all about. We're gonna also see weekly Stochs getting way up there, and that's with this downwards momentum, not gonna end up too well. Let's look at Bcash. Bcash wants to come down to 242.5 first target and maybe 204 second target. A lot of these things coming down to their their weekly 10. I'd say 230. Could be likely with the 200 simple right over here. And you do see that we have lost a 20-minute exponential. I would say that if Bcash does pop back up and test 277, it's probably going to get rejected. In fact, I think that we might have already seen that on that run to 271.25. I think that this one, the next move down, likely coming around this 240 to 230. Tron Cash, what's Tron Cash doing? Oh, baby, hit our 2.2 cent target. Nicely done, Tron. Very nicely done. Even rejected a beautiful death cross along the way. Rejected from the death cross along the way. I love it. You gotta love it, man. Again, no hate towards the Tron people of the world. Justin Sun, I love you, my friend. But the weekly looking absolutely atrocious right now. While I do think that it's possible that we do get a run back up to test like 2.44 cents next week, that's probably gonna get rejected, and we're probably gonna head lower. I'd say overall, longer term, I'd want to see this thing come back down to 0.019 down here. But for now, I'd say short-term bounce, probably bounce back up and test, around this region. Neocash, did Neocash hit our 8.8 cents target? Nope, not yet, but, Jesus. Okay, that's not good. Oh God, that's really not good. I think it'll be on the way though. Maybe I make that $8.90. Going back to the weekly, this is atrocious here. If we close the weekly anywhere below like $10-ish area, yes, we probably do have a rally to start off next week, pop back up to $10, and then I'd probably be looking for this to come down lower. Do I have a target for this, longer term? I don't really feel strongly about it. Maybe somewhere in this region, like $8. We'll get to it. We got to take things at first things first. EOS hitting our target right around 460. Nice. Do I want to see a bounce here? I think we just saw one. And it got sold. I would be looking for support around 435 if it does get there. Weekly, same thing here. Weekly Stoch's going to be having a fresh cross down. Weekly support right around 440. But, this kind of reminds me of Cardano, right? Puts in this rally, and then it's going to just shoot right through these moving averages, and then they're going to become resistance. Just like you see right over here. I fucking hate that I'm going to use this word again, but fractal. Looking at the higher time frames, that looks like it's going to happen. Lower time frames, they're probably going to bounce around that, around this area, and then we'll figure it out from there. But higher time frames, I would be bearish on. Longer term, EOS down to 476. Test the 200 simple. Wrong chart. Let's go on over to Mr. Ripple's nipples. Mr. Ripple's nipples once again in trouble. Flirting around with the incredibly important horizontal right here at about 28.5 cents. If this area breaks, I'm looking for a target down to 26 cents and then 24 cents are going to be my next two areas. Of course, does that mean that I just blindly short this thing right here, right now? Nope, not at all. I do not play any alts, especially Ripple, because Ripple is fucking crazy. And Brad Garlickhouse is a maniac who is a genius when it comes to marketing. So if there's one thing that I do not want to play, it's this one. If I'm looking at the weekly, I'd say 25.5 cents. Doesn't look good. 24 cents below that. Jesus. Needs to break this area first before that becomes a reality. We don't know how long it's going to, grind this area, but the second that you see it break 28.5 cents, open up the floodgates, baby. We're going down. Monero Cash getting rejected right over here. Does it bounce up a little bit more? I could actually look at. It's funny. I actually could look at Monero and make an argument for it. If we do end the weekly above $65 at Sunday 8 p.m. Eastern time, I think that it actually reaccumulate here and try higher. But I'd say if the rest of the market's going to end down, this thing probably follows. Stellar Cash getting down to our 10-cent target, even below. Ooh, nice. Actually overshot it. There we go. Not bad, Stellar. Not bad. Well, I mean, it's bad, but next target would be like 9.3 cent, maybe 8.8 cent. It's getting down to the wire here. I don't know if I'd be like trying to squeeze some off. I mean, maybe this is just another dead cat bounce. We're about to see weekly Stochs cross back to the downside. Is this thing gonna make a new low? Jesus, man, that'd be brutal. Down to like 5 cents. Ugh. First things first, this area has to break. I'm going to be called Mr. FUD soon. I don't want to be Mr. FUD. I want to be Mr. Opportunity. Okay, let's go check out Mrs. Litecoin. I've actually left out the most important ones as of recently. Wow, Mrs. Litecoin not even getting down to my not even getting down to my major target. Right around $68, $69. Actually, pretty resilient. That's a sign of strength. That is a sign of strength. If Mrs. Litecoin does find a way down here, I would be looking for a bounce in this area. Sorry, this area being about $67. Weekly is, I mean, weekly Stochs can be crossing the downside. That's, I guess if it wants to break down with the rest of the market, I'd be looking right around $60. But this one's been the most resilient one. If I had to say that something's bottomed out, I'd probably say it's Litecoin. I think that I do think that $22 is the bottom. That doesn't mean though that we can't have a retracement down. And if Bitcoin does come back down to its lows, you're probably going to see Litecoin come all the way down to $48. Mr. Buterol, weak as well. But bouncing off the 200 simple, so fair enough. Weekly is looking like a very Merry Christmas. Not so much, man. Not so much. I do think that we probably try to bounce this area a little bit more, though. Daily Jewel gave a sell signal right over here, right on this rejection. Not a perfect sell signal, but a decent one. Playing itself out. I don't have a strong opinion here because I'd be looking more for a bounce on Mr. Buterol rather than further selling. I don't get bearish on Mr. Buterol until we actually break 148. We already hit the 148 target. That's the important part, right? Or sorry, I think I targeted 149, so I was off by $1, but oh well. Can't be perfect, man. If we do break this area, then I would be looking for a move back down somewhere to this region, right around 127, 126. Where is SPY? Let's go check out traditional markets. Traditional markets also coming down a little bit, selling off a little bit. Overall, though, am I bearish on traditional markets? Not really. But a pullback to 283.5 would certainly not be out of the question. And remember, these have had great confluences with spot charts for Bitcoin. Just kind of overlaying these charts really quickly, and we'll do this a couple times. But overall, both them kind of bottoming out in 2014, 2015 during this area right over here, then full bull ahead for Bitcoin, full bull ahead for SPY, putting in their highs around the same time, then coming down over here, putting in lows, then popping back up, putting in highs, then coming back down, putting in lows. Then Bitcoin goes into a sideways consolidation while SPY goes into kind of an upwards trudge. And then Bitcoin breaks down, SPY breaks down. They bottom at the same point in time. Bitcoin once again goes kind of sideways and then up. Well, what do you see on SPY? Back up again. And does SPY put in a top here? Maybe. I don't know if I want to be bearish on SPY though. This is a hard chart to not love. It's pretty good. I also don't. I'm not a breakout trader, so I wouldn't be buying this either. But monthly Stochs do look good to me. Let's go check out Dixie. This is also very important. Dixie, the dollar index, if you're not familiar with it, which, if I can find it, there we go, is breaking out. The breakout that we've been looking for a very long time now, actually looking like it's going to happen, or looking like it's going to be confirmed later tonight. I believe this closed at 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern time. Looks to me like we're going to break out, and I do have a measured move point as above $100. Why is this important? Well, just by the nature of it, Bitcoin trades against the dollar, right? So Bitcoin versus the dollar, if the dollar goes up, naturally Bitcoin's value against the dollar goes down. And, it sounds like I'm being condescending when I explain it like that. I don't mean it like that. You know what I mean? It's they trade against each other. So naturally it's going to go down. More importantly, we do see that represented in the charts as well. BTC, USD. Let's go Finex. And same thing over here. Bitcoin goes on a 3-year rally starting in about 2016. Dixie goes on a 3-year dump starting from 2016. Bitcoin tops out right over here. Dixie bottoms out right over here. Then ever since Bitcoin's essentially been in a downtrend on the higher time frames, all time frames, monthly time frame, all lower time frames have been on a current uptrend actually. And then Dixie, heads up, right? So if Dixie breaks out here, I mean, that's it's historically not too good for Bitcoin. So yeah, I think that's enough. I think that's enough of that. Enough of my stupid raspy Latvian voice for today. And let's go back onto this chart. Okay, so Bitcoin, if we do close a 4-hour doodle below 5,100, I would be looking for a more soon move down to 4750-ish area, 4800, somewhere in this zone right over here would look about right. By the same token, if Bitcoin does take out 53 to the upside, I do think that Bitcoin will march back towards its prior highs and probably beyond over time. But right now, I do lean a little bit more to the downside. But hey, I don't trade my opinion. And of course, for full disclosure, for full transparency, these are my positions right now. I will take this short off if we get back above 5,300. If Bitcoin gets below 5,100, I could either get rid of these perps or just add on to this short. Either which way, I'm cool with. But for right now, just kind of content sitting idly by and kind of watching for the next move, because if we do take it out to the upside, I'd be happy to be long and capture that move. Anyways, that's going to do it for right now. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. I'll be back on later with some more live stream action. So if I don't see you there, I do want to wish you a happy Friday, happy, safe, and healthy and Safu Friday, and see you soon. Take care.